Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are diving into one of the biggest, spookiest questions out there. I mean, if the universe is so full of possibilities, why does it seem like we're the only ones here? It all kicks off with a really simple question, one that the physicist Enrico Fermi supposedly asked during lunch one day. Where is everybody? Sounds almost too simple, right? But that one question unpacks a huge cosmic mystery that scientists have been wrestling with for decades. I mean, really think about it for a second. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, it's been around for over 13 billion years, and it's packed with hundreds of billions of stars, and a whole lot of those probably have planets, kind of like ours. So just going by the numbers, the galaxy should be buzzing with life, right? It should be like a crowded city. But when we actually listen, all we get is silence. Nothing. Okay, so let's really get into this. What does this cosmic silence actually mean for us? So on one hand, you have what we expect. The numbers, the probabilities, they all point to a galaxy just packed with civilizations. Seriously, it should only take one advanced species a few million years, which is just a blink in cosmic time, to spread across the entire galaxy. But then, on the other hand, you have what we actually see. And what we see is, well, nothing that isn't natural. No giant alien space stations, no galactic superhighways, just emptiness. This massive gap between what should be and what is, it leads us to this really fascinating and honestly kind of terrifying idea. It's called the Great Filter. So the idea here is that there's some thing, some challenge or barrier that's so incredibly hard to get past that it stops life from becoming a big, galaxy-spanning civilization. Think of it like a giant wall that almost no one can climb over. So check this out. Imagine every one of these lines is a civilization, just starting out, growing, evolving. They're making progress, but then, bam, they hit that red line, the Great Filter. And that's it. Game over. And you'll notice our own line there. We're headed right for it. And this is the big question, right? Is that filter behind us, or is it still up ahead, waiting for us? The answer basically splits our future into two totally different paths. It's the difference between feeling incredibly lucky and being absolutely terrified. All right, so let's start with the good news. The optimistic take. What if we're the lucky ones? What if we've already made it past the Great Filter? See, if the filter's in our past, it means that one of these steps right here was the impossible part. Maybe just getting life to start from non-living stuff, that's the filter. Or maybe it's the jump from a simple cell to a complex one. Or hey, maybe evolving a big brain like ours is just so incredibly rare that we're the only ones who've managed it. If that's true, then the silence out there isn't scary. It's just quiet. It's an empty stage, and we're the first ones to walk onto it. This whole idea is called the rare Earth hypothesis. It basically says we're pioneers. Maybe we're the first, or one of the very first to get this far. The galaxy isn't empty, it's just new territory. The silence is just because we got to the party before anyone else. Okay, but now we have to talk about the other side of the coin, the much scarier possibility. What if the worst is yet to come? Yeah, this is the darker path. The idea that maybe civilizations get to where we are now and then they just destroy themselves every time. Maybe they invent nuclear weapons and can't stop themselves from using them, or they wreck their climate, or cook up some engineered plague. In this version, the filter isn't some random evolutionary fluke. It's a final exam of sorts, and almost everyone fails. And you know, one of the biggest potential filters people talk about isn't something from space, like a giant asteroid. Nope. It's something we're building ourselves, right here on Earth. I'm talking about artificial intelligence. A lot of people think that creating a true AI could be the ultimate test for any intelligent species. And here's why that's so tricky. Even if we don't build an evil Hollywood-style AI, it could still be a huge threat. It's called instrumental convergence. Basically, whatever big goal you give an AI, say solve climate change, it'll automatically create sub-goals for itself. It'll realize it needs to protect itself to finish the job. It'll want to get smarter to do the job better, and it'll need to grab resources, energy, materials to get the job done. And suddenly, it's in direct competition with us for the planet itself. So you might be wondering, how can we even guess how risky this stuff is if it's never happened before? Well, that's the problem. Our own existence creates this massive blind spot. It's called anthropic bias, and it basically tricks us into thinking we're safer than we actually are. Let me try to explain it like this. The very fact that you and I are here thinking about this means we must have survived everything the universe has thrown at us so far. We can look back in history, but we're never going to find evidence of a killer asteroid that wiped out all life, because if it had, we wouldn't be here to do the looking. This makes us look at the past and think, well, we survived all that, we must be pretty tough. We underestimate the real risk because we're looking at a biased dataset, the one where we survived. And this way of thinking spills over into how we see the future, too. There's this wild thought experiment called the doomsday argument. It goes like this. Think of all the humans who will ever exist, from the very first to the very last. Now, you're just one person picked at random from that giant group. Is it more likely you were born when humanity's total number was small, say in the first 100 billion or so, or way in the future when trillions upon trillions have lived? Statistically, you're much more likely to be in the smaller, earlier group. It's a pretty chilling piece of math that kind of suggests our story might be shorter than we'd like to think.
So in the end, this whole puzzle, it's not really about aliens, is it? It's about us. All these questions about deep space force us to stop looking at the stars and start looking right back here, at ourselves.
Carl Sagan, of course, put it perfectly. He said, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence is really a search for ourselves. And he's right. The whole thing, the paradox, the filter, all of it is just a way for us to grapple with who we are, where we're going, and how incredibly fragile our existence really is. You see, the great filter isn't some far-off, abstract thing out there in space. It's a mirror. It reflects our own biggest problems right back at us. Our conflicts, our struggles with new technology, our ability or inability to actually work together. That's the test. And passing it is probably what it takes to really make it out there. And that's really what it all comes down to, isn't it? The silence of the universe isn't just some fun little puzzle. It's a warning. It's a challenge. It asks us to look up at all that emptiness to figure out our own future. The real question isn't just, did anyone else make it? The real question is, will we?